Hey, it's Ken, SwitchSynthetics.com, and today I want to review why it is so hard to be an AMSOIL dealer today. Actually, it's not really all that hard, but we do have a lot of haters, and that's what I kind of want to address today. So, I'm going to give you guys my review about AMSOIL and let you know a little bit of my backstory, and then go into a lot more detailed stuff. So, this might take a little while, but sit down, grab a beer, and let's chat about oil. So, for instance, I have a couple people on Facebook saying a couple things, and they keep saying, "Hey, don't get butthurt. We just want to know the facts." Well, here's the facts. So I'll go back to how I started with AMSOIL, and then we'll get into a lot more of the in-depth things. So I was a young father, had just purchased a truck, and then lost my job. I was taking my son. Since I was a stay-at-home dad, I was taking my son to preschool, and then on the way the truck blew up. It was a Ford with the modular 4.6 motor. So, of course, what do? Well, I don't have money to take it to a dealership and get it rebuilt, so I tore it apart and did it myself with the help of a local Ford dealer. I just called him up, and the Ford dealer said, this guy might be looking to do stuff on the side. And back then, you would be able to do things like this. So one of the mechanics came and helped me rebuild my motor in my garage. So we were looking at the motor and found out that the antifreeze actually bored through one of the freeze plugs, and then that put oil behind the front cover, and then, or antifreeze behind the front cover. It got in with the oil and just sludged the motor up, and kind of screwed me on that. So we found out that it was possible that someone switched the antifreeze over to Dexcool, which shouldn't have been done, and the Dexcool then had a reaction with the freeze plugs. More along the lines, this is now a common problem with those older engines. So it was one of the first things that we had seen. This was, quite a few years back. From there, I then was like, okay, this is some weird chemistry stuff. I kind of want to learn more about this. And that got me in the rabbit hole of becoming an AMSOIL dealer. And because I did the research and found out the AMSOIL products wouldn't do that sort of thing. So, of course, I put the AMSOIL product into my engine at that time. And then a couple years later became an AMSOIL dealer because I was looking for a way to make some extra money as a stay-at-home dad, and luckily it's one of the things that got me to the point where I am today. So that's how I started with AMSOIL, and the whole reason behind why I got in with AMSOIL was because I had a problem, and being a stay-at-home dad, like, we didn't have money to afford to rebuild an engine. I barely had money to buy the truck. So at that point, we ended up getting everything together and started building this small business. That's my why behind what I do, and I truly enjoy being an AMSOIL dealer because I get to deal with a ton of great customers. You can see it on Switch Synthetics and click on any product and see all the awesome reviews that we have. So that's the thing that I really love and what brings me into being an AMSOIL dealer. From there, the thing I do hate, I have my computer here, I see lots of misinformation, and there are some dealers out there that are new and they don't know what really they're talking about, so that gives AMSOIL a bad rap. Now, the problem is AMSOIL is a multi-level marketing company, so anybody can become a dealer. It's a great opportunity. The thing is we do offer training for a lot of dealers, especially when they're starting out, and most people don't take the training. AMSOIL does their best to offer that training so people actually know what they're talking about. But a lot of dealers just, they don't take the training. So, unfortunately, there is a lot of misinformation out there. AMSOIL has done their best to make sure that we are all well trained and know what we're talking about before we try to sell product. So, don't blame AMSOIL. It's because the dealer that is working on it might be a little lazy. So from there, I get a lot of people asking, hey, why is AMSOIL the best? Or why are you better? And all this sort of thing. Simply put, AMSOIL is the best. Was the first synthetic since 1972. They have a lab where they design everything, full synthetic lubricants. Then they test it again, put it in the racetracks. We have tons of customers that use the product. We do everything we can to design in the lab, test in the field, and then make sure by retesting on the back end that we're doing the right thing and making the right product. Other brands, they're a little bit too big for their britches, and they don't do the back end testing. They just make something for a spec. And if you guys want to know the specs, you go to the API or ILSAC and find all the specs online. And many brands, actually pretty much all brands, build product just to meet the spec. They're not looking to exceed the spec. They just want the minimum quality for your vehicle because that's all they really need. That's where AMSOIL is different, mainly with our Signature Series product. It is far exceeding what the minimum specs are, and that's where people go crazy because they're like, hey, a 25,000 mile change interval, mind blown. And it's because AMSOIL makes the best products we possibly can, and then we put a price to it. Why? Because we're enthusiasts and we want to have the best. Plain and simple. Now, if you guys are looking for technical data and all that stuff, it's on every single product that we offer. You can find it all at Switch Synthetics and look up every single product and see that there's a data bulletin with it. So when people are asking me, how can I prove that AMSOIL is better than any other brand? Simply put, you have to be a customer. Plain and simple. And I say that because you have to see for yourself the quality that AMSOIL offers. You know, we ship it right to you. We offer top quality products. I have the customer service. You can call or text me whenever you need me. That's where we're different than any other brand. All we're doing is trying to sell great products to you, our loyal customers. We're not trying to, pull the wool over your face and get you into something that wouldn't be good for you. We have a vehicle lookup. Look up your vehicle, and those are the products we warranty that would fit your engine. And if you have something special, say you're running E85 or you're supercharged, turbocharged, some aftermarket stuff, we do oil analysis to prove that our product is best fit for your vehicle or your application. So I can show you all of the product against many things. We do have a website, I'll put in the links, that shows you all the different AMSOIL testing. Here's where things go bad, and where I would also say, prove to me that other brands are testing against AMSOIL. So why would AMSOIL then pay and test against all these other brands whenever all these other brands don't test against AMSOIL? Why is AMSOIL then being the one that is out there saying, hey, show me the proof, show me the proof, show me the proof? Why don't you show me Quaker State or Pennzoil or Mobil 1 or Driven or any other brand against AMSOIL? Why don't you bring that information to me, and then I'll show you? There isn't that information. No one's testing against AMSOIL. Why? Because they'll lose. Simply put. That's why I have a little bit of beef here, because everyone's saying, show me the proof. I can show you the proof. Look at the data bulletin. Get whatever you're using now and look at that data bulletin. If there isn't one available, take a sample of what you're using now. We'll send it out. Put in AMSOIL, take a sample, we'll send it out. Then you'll start seeing what each individual product is doing for you, instead of trying to do a general overview. And here's why I say this. I didn't know this until recently. I went to an AMSOIL convention because us dealers are supposed to go to training. I went to this training and found out that AMSOIL has been sued multiple times by all these other brands. So, for instance, we take Harley Oil. We have our lab. You guys can go on the AMSOIL YouTube and see into our lab on a lot of things. And even our dyno. We have a chainsaw dyno. Who in the world has a chainsaw dyno? And a weed whacker dyno? Like, AMSOIL does this stuff to make sure our two-stroke is even the best. So, we do all this stuff, make sure our product's the best. We release a report. The report is public, so you guys get to see it. And if you look around, you might be able to find the old reports that we had to take off the internet. So, they shouldn't be on there anymore, but I'm pretty sure you could probably find one of the reports from back in the day. But we would get cease and desist orders from Harley and Sin 3 and all these other brands, just putting out this one that I know of, because we would test against their product, completely crush it, annihilate it, would be way better than their product could ever be. But they would send us this letter suing AMSOIL because of slander and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, we were just testing their product. We put on there, hey, this is what we tested, this is when we tested it, this is where we bought it, all that sort of stuff. But they still send us these nasty letters trying to say, hey, you got to get that information out of there. And what they would do is then say, we reformulated, so you're not testing our current product line. That's how they would get out of it. And we had to stop because it was a letter from, an attorney. So we would get sued constantly by putting out this information. Then the flip side happened. Since we were putting out this information that we were making these great products, these other brands then started to try and copy us. They were actually making their product better because we were proving how bad their product was. So it's a flip 22. You kind of get to this thing where you're showing everybody how bad they are, you're crushing them, but no one's switching to your product because they think it's too expensive or it's too outlandish. And then we're not getting the new customers to join to us, but we're getting sued because all these other brands are then saying that we're, saying slander about them. Meanwhile, we were testing them and they stink. So AMSOIL decided we got to stop doing this because it's costing us millions of dollars each lawsuit, millions of dollars just to do the testing, because it's not like you can just go and test this stuff. You have to have all the lab, the dyno, all that stuff. You guys know how much a dyno costs. Try having 10 of them, like, it's not that easy to do. And then that's where it became too expensive for us to then put out all this information. AMSOIL still does all this testing. They still test against every brand out there. They test religiously. The only thing is we can't make that available anymore to you, because then it makes our competition even more, and then it costs us more money in all these lawsuits. So we really had to watch what we were doing. So if you want the test, I'm getting here bashed on Facebook, show me the test. Listen, if you want me to show you the test, you got to put AMSOIL in your engine or your transmission or rear end. Let's sample what you're using now. Try the AMSOIL, sample again. That's your test. The test exactly designed for you. Bar none, that's the only thing we can do. And I'll of course send a couple of things and send over the testing that we do have. But until you guys start proving testing from other brands to AMSOIL, it's kind of hard to do. So that's where my little rant ends. That's the hardest part about being an AMSOIL dealer is, taking this slander and stuff like that against me and what I'm doing. I'm just trying to give you guys the best product because I believe in the product. I know it's the best because I use it. I abuse it in my vehicles every single day. I have over 25,000 miles on an EcoBoost using AMSOIL in it, over 25,000 miles in one change. Purposely show you guys how bad the oil gets and how AMSOIL still protects. I mean, who else would purposely do that? I have 30,000 miles on a Subaru oil change that I've done, and I've shared all the reports on that. The oil was still good. So I've actually tested my own vehicles, proving how good AMSOIL is, but people just overlook the information. So it's kind of crazy how all this works. I just want to say, guys, if you want the best is AMSOIL products. And why it's the best is because let's test what you have now, switch to AMSOIL, let's test it again. If it's not the best, then you can bash me all you want. But until then, you got to try the product, plain and simple. So I thank everyone else that's been a loyal customer of mine, and I thank all the awesome reviews that I get, on my Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube channel, even on Google reviews, all that stuff. You guys really rock. I'll post what I can and share with you guys what I can, but please, just remember, I'm a small guy. Same with a bunch of other AMSOIL dealers that are out there. We're just trying to offer you guys a good product and make a little bit of a living. If you want to keep sending all your money to Brad Penn or Mobil One and all these other brands, keep doing it. But just know that you're not doing, your local guys justice. This is one of those things. Coronavirus hit, shop small, help the little guy. What I sell as an AMSOIL dealer directly affects me and my family. This is how we live and survive. So I'm open to hearing what you guys have as a rebuttal, but just remember, you can't really tell me that the products are all that bad without even trying them. Or if you've tried them before and used the wrong product. I have people saying, hey, I have this problem with this, that, or another thing. Well, you're using the wrong product. You're not even, you might be using AMSOIL product, but you're using it the wrong mix ratio because you took information from an online form that was wrong, because there's people out there that are shady like that purposely do things wrong. So I'm here to help with all the best things that I possibly can and bring you guys the right information and the right service. So if you need anything, switchsynthetics.com. I thank you for being a great customer, and take care, and God bless everyone.